there was a tech guy saying that AI they've tried to roll it out many different times. I think it was once in the 80s, as far
Yeah,
back as
there
the
was
80s.
multiple AI winters, they're
Yeah,
called. So there's the summers
yeah,
of
yeah.
AI, and then there's the winters of AI.
Right. And so what he was saying was that it was to the point where um there was the peak of this wave where everyone was putting AI and stuff, and then actually stocks would go down when the people were mentioning AI because they're like, oh, it doesn't work, right? Or it's not doing what we thought it was going to do.
Exactly.
And
You just hit the nail on the head. It's not doing what we thought it was going to do. So AI winters, and people are already talking about the high probability of us entering into another AI winter because there are probably less discerning scholars and researchers that tend to overhype the potential promises for AI and then underdeliver on those promises. And that makes investors, that's what's
right,
fundamentally required for this kind of stuff, to get really nervous about continuing to invest, right?
right. Well, there's very little profit in a lot of these companies. I mean, they're not making money; they're losing money. Um, but like the analog that this guy gave was the touch screen. The touchscreen technology existed for a long time, in really long time, and it wasn't until there was this kind of convergence of the technology and some kind of useful implementation of technology. I think probably the iPhone or the I,
Yeah, those are
those.
called enabling technologies. So one techno because like I said, this is why we have to be very careful about the narratives we choose. That technologies don't develop in isolation; they develop on scaffolding, right? They're architectures, and because of that, they're fundamentally, inextricably enmeshed, connected with the other technologies that are also scaffolding, right? Building on previous iterations. And in many cases, these technologies converge and enable one another to actually function at their peak capacity, we could say, right? For
Right.
example, there was at the beginning of the 2000s, there was a huge nanotechnology hype, right? It's going to change everything, particularly medicine, little nanobots that go into your
Yeah,
system. But
cleaning out your
how do you
heart. Yeah.
navigate those, right? People are
Right.
saying maybe we need something like artificial intelligence that will enable those kinds of very, very delicate, atomically precise manufacturing technologies to create the kind of microelectronics that would have that would be efficacious within the human body and be safe,
Sure.
right? We can't navigate those little things ourselves manually. We need something that we can delegate that to, and that would be something like AI. But in 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 lieu of AI, how would we do that? So there's right now we find ourselves, what are we? We're in 2024, almost 2025, kind of like 15 years within a nanotechnology winter, in which yes, there is nanotech research, but those like really science fiction narratives that were really hyped about the promises of nanotech simply haven't panned out. And maybe it's going to be something like AI that enables that tech, right?
Right. And it appears that for AI, the large language models, namely ChatGPT, was sort of the impetus for the explosion because people could literally get on their computer and talk to this thing and get these answers that were just astonishing.
Sure.
Um,
But
and
you had other
so,
technologies that enabled it, right? Your PC, your home PC,
sure.
the, the easy access to high speed internet, right? In many cases, probably a large majority of people are using it on their phones, right? So, and ChatGPT also then becomes an enabling technology as it becomes integrated into other applications, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's what people are struggling is, okay, let's how do we integrate this into something that makes money?
Sure,
So
sure.
I think if they fail to do that, then there's going to be trouble anyway, because of the large costs of running these things.
Yeah. The number of servers, the amount of energy that's consumed per prompt, right? There are people who even do calculations on how much energy is consumed per prompt, right? The number of prompts per day, the number of prompts per month, per year, and then you could calculate the amount of energy that's consumed simply from just ChatGPT. And the more it becomes ubiquitous, right? Because this is called the pervasiveness of technology. That it's called the Collingridge dilemma, right? So the dilemma with technology, Collingridge said, is that we don't know the impacts of a technology until it's released and becomes ubiquitous. But the moment it becomes released and therefore
It's
ubiquitous,
too
it's
late.
impossible to bring it back and make the changes we need, right? So it's kind of like, what do we do? And something like ChatGPT, which has like an API that people can use and integrate into other apps, right? Is that it's become exponential. So now you have a lot of other people, businesses, applications, domains of application that are dependent on this other technology, right? If ChatGPT disappeared today, right? It wouldn't be ChatGPT that disappeared. It would be ChatGPT and everything else built on it, because technologies are not in isolation. They are a scaffolding. Knock the legs off a scaffolding from a building and watch the rest of the scaffolding that was built on top of it fall.